We had a little look at this game and you guys wanted more. Was playing with unlimited money last time, but can we make a business that is financially viable in this game? Let's find out. Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to a brand new series and a channel takeover of NIMBY Rails. For 2 weeks, we're going to be doing episodes of this game. I did having a crack live. You guys came to see it in far greater numbers than I've seen for many other live streams recently, and in a vote recently, it outvoted OpenTTD as something you'd like to see more of. So here we are, we've got the brand new series starting. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's a train rail simulation game, but if you're familiar with OpenTTD, it's a lot more based on real life stuff, and it's more real time in terms of game mechanics. So whilst this game is very different to OpenTTD, because a lot of my audience is very familiar with OpenTTD, I'll be drawing some comparisons and doing the differences as we go along. Now, if you like the look of this game, then you can be within a chance of winning it. I have 4 game codes of this game to give away. Thanks very much to the developer and to JBay as well. So thank you to both of you for donating them. If you want to find out how to be within a chance of winning them, I'll tell you later in the episode, so keep an eye out for that. But here we go. I'll explain a little bit about the game as we go, in case you haven't seen the live stream. This is a brand new game, and the day of recording and the day of the video going out, I believe this was released yesterday. Pretty sure it's yesterday. So, there's not a massive amount of options here. I've changed the user interface scaling because I know some of you like to watch my videos on a mobile device and some of the interface might be a bit small for you to see. So I've upscaled the interface and the options, and we're going to go and do a brand new game. Okay, so here we go. The company name, well, that has to be Hellish Inc. There we go. And we did unlimited money for the having a crack, just so we could play around with the game and have a feel. But we're actually going to try and do a proper company with proper the financials in this game. So we're going to click Start Game. And here we go. Here is a map of the world. Now I'm going to press the spacebar to pause the game. Now a couple of things to note. There is a time and date that ticks along in real time unless you speed the game up. And that's UTC, so no matter where you are working in the world, it's UTC. Speaking of the world, there is only one map in this game. The world. It is a map of the world, a full map of the world. And kudos to the developer for getting the download size of this game around 16 gig, because I'm pretty sure that this map would have been absolutely and utterly humongous initially. There must be some really good compression and stuff going on here. But it is a full map of the world. Well, I say full map. There's something that's been removed. The railways. So if we go to... Well, I'll tell you what, I will go to my original hometown, Lincoln. I've spent a lot of time here growing up. It's not where I live now, but I know a lot about the place. Here is where the train station should be. And there should be some rails here. But there isn't. All the rails have been removed, which is really cool. And you can go anywhere. So on the live stream, we came towards Canada, and we went and had a look at Toronto because it's somewhere I'd visited before, and you can see that everything is there, just how it should be. So what we're going to do, there we go, is we're going to start in the UK because it's somewhere I'm familiar with, and it'll help me build the company. And later in the series, if we continue, we may expand to other countries and go in different places. I'd quite like the idea of doing something in the States, maybe down India way, or perhaps even Australia might be quite cool. It would also be quite nice to put in the rail routes that I took to the LAN party I went to in Belgium. So over here, I went to a LAN party over down here in MacLeod, and it'd be nice to put the rail services in between there, Brussels, and that means I'd actually have to put the Channel Tunnel in, which would cost a fortune. But that's an interesting thing to do. So there you go, that's an introduction to the game and stuff. If you don't know me, by the way, and you're new to the channel, hello, welcome. If you want to know more about me, masterhellish.net is the place to go. It tells you all about my giveaways and my live streams and all that sort of stuff, and it gives you the links for all the fantastic places like my other channels and Discord and stuff like that. We have a good, nice little community going there on Discord. So, what are we going to build? Well, there's various different things you can build and different ways you can do it, and I'll explain stuff as we go. But what I decided to do is we need a money maker, because we've got a lot of money. It depends what part of the world you're from. I read that number as $1 billion. Some people might read it as 1,000 million. I'm not sure about the different regions of the world and numbers, but we've got a lot of money, and that's for sure. And you know what? You need it, because if we get the tracks out, you can build some tracks and put the track down and just basically put it pretty much anywhere. So we could go here and build some track like that. Okay, so you're in a blueprint mode to begin with, and what you can change those bits of track around as much as you like, bend them, tweak them, twist them, delete them, add them. There's even an undo. You can do Control Z, and it will just undo the last bit of segments that you did. But once your blueprints are in place, you won't get the money back. You won't get the money back if you need to remove something and do it again. Now you notice that the river went blue, was blue and went red then. That's because if you go over small things like this small track or footpath, the game ignores it. If you go over normal size stuff like this road, it puts in what it calls an overpass, like a small bridge. And if you try and go over a river, it can't do it. So you need to use something the game calls a viaduct, which is essentially a large bridge that you can do in sections of track. And of course you can have tunnels and stuff, but tunnels are so more expensive than standard track. If we put some standard track in for this length, and then we put a tunnel in for roughly the same length, you can see here that the ground level track is 1.4 million and the tunnel is 16 million. Considerably more than standard track. So we're going to avoid using any tunnels to begin with. So that's the track and how we're going to work around it. I'm hovering around Nottingham because I've already thought about what I'd like to do. I've given it a good thought, and I've seen a Let's Play or two online, and in all of them people are just going in with some random things and stuff, and the game takes forever for them to make any money. I'm thinking we need to have a money maker. So one thing you can do is place down stations. Now the station in Lincoln in real life is here. You can actually see the footbridge around my cursor. So, yep, that should be station. Yeah, let's zoom in. You can see the platform and stuff. So if we put that in there, you can see we get nearly 5,000 people, a population in this catchment area. See, look, there's a catchment area. So the stations have catchment areas, just like that's one of the similarities with OpenTTD. If I put another station in over here, you can see the catchment area gets split up and divided, but we don't want that. There's a slight graphical thing with if you do what I just did, but you can just change the size of the catchment area and it'll fix that. So you can see that you get quite a number of passengers there in Lincoln. Now, with my experimentation, that's actually quite good, because if we add the population overlay here, you can see places like Leicester has got high density population in the middle there. Lincoln hasn't got a massive amount, but if you get into the centre, it's actually quite dense in that very central part. And then if you go places like, I don't know, Doncaster, again, Doncaster's quite spread out. It's not very dense in the middle. So if I was to try and put a station in the centre of Doncaster, not even thinking about how I would fit it in around roads and stuff, that one there is only collecting 2,000 people. And if we go somewhere like Leicester, and we've got a very dense section in the middle here, if we zoom in and try and do that one, okay, even with that coverage there, we're only getting 4,000. These two places, which are actually, well, I don't know about Doncaster, but Leicester is almost certainly bigger than Lincoln. We're getting worse coverage. So let's undo those last two things. So if I undo it, where's Leicester gone? I've lost Leicester. This is why we're playing in an area of the country, the area of the world I'm a little bit more familiar with, because it'll help me navigate and stuff. There we go. So it turns out that my hometown of Lincoln is actually a really good place to put a train station because we get a lot. Now, somewhere else that we obviously need to connect two stations together. And looking around, Grimsby is not great. I think the nearest place that is going to be any use to us is Nottingham. Okay, now there is a train line that goes from Lincoln via Newark to Nottingham. So that sounds like a really good idea. And I've already had a quick look around in Nottingham and found the train station because I know where it is in real life. I've been to Nottingham a few times, and the only time I've been to Nottingham has been, I think, to see shows. So I've been to see a few band performances there, including Blink 182, and I went to see the Marvel's action show live or something like that. But here, this is where the train station is in real life. And the good news for us is I think stations pretty much just ignore roads and stuff when you put them in. Did I build my station as an underground station or a viaduct or something in Lincoln? Have I made that mistake? Let's have a look. Standard track. Yeah, I have. Okay. Let's undo that and put the correct station in. There we go. Much better. I've noticed that just in time before actually building everything. So we're going to go back to Nottingham, find where the station is, pop it in. And Nottingham station is an amazing place. Look at that. Just over 9,000 in the catchment area. Nottingham, especially the centre of Nottingham, is very dense, and the train station is right in the middle in a brilliant place. Now, one of the reasons why we're putting the stations and stuff exactly where they are in real life is because, one, I think it'll be fun to do that, kind of recreate that, and two, laying the lines gets easier. Because if you look here, you can see where the railway line actually goes in real life, and there's less roads and less obstacles to overcome, which means it's going to be cheaper. You see the game put an overpass in here, and putting an overpass in costs you $1 million. $1 million. So if we were to do something like this, it's going to cost a lot of money just to build that up and do that. But it would cost even more if we tried to go through a street like this. That is actually just ridiculous just for a little bit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 million just in overpasses, let alone the track. So following the original routes is definitely going to be helpful towards the beginning of this Let's Play. But we're not going to stick to it later on because we'll have more money, we'll be more flexible, we can be more adventurous with what we're planning. So let's do a little bit of this. So first of all, we're going over some roads which don't really count as much. Maybe they're footpaths. Then we've got an actual road to go over. And then we're going to go over this river, which is too big for an overpass. So we're going to use the viaduct. And it looks like we need to just adjust this bit of road here to, this little bit of track here to get the right angle in over this viaduct. It's actually quite close. Now, speaking of adjusting and tools and so forth, this game is actually really good in terms of the interface and how easy it is to use and all that sort of thing. Now you can see that when I was zoomed in you couldn't see it very well, but when I zoom out you can see you get this little circle as a radius. It gives you an idea on how tightly your track is turning, and to be honest that is very important because the tighter the track turns, the slower the speed, maximum speed of the train. Also helps you make it relatively straight if you want it to be. Now we don't want this one to be straight, we're going to get it to come out a little bit and then we're going to start bending it just so it misses these fields and so forth, and then we need to find out where it goes. So this here looks like is where the track will go, and we do it in relatively short segments. Hopefully we can get quite good curves on this. Now coming into the city, let's just zoom in a bit to make sure I can see what I'm doing. Coming into the city, the trains are going to have to slow down. Look, maximum speed 143, 157. But hopefully once we get out of this city centre and go across the countryside, we'll be able to have longer, straighter bits of track. Now I've deliberately brought this up a little bit so that when I do this, we can get across the road. Because if you try and go across a road at a too steep angle, it won't be able to build the overpass. If you bring that back and make it more perpendicular to the road, then it will be able to. That's why I've got this little shimmy in here. Now, before I build all blueprints, I do have the options to wiggle this. So I can bring this bit down like that to enable this bit to be straighter and come out. And we can probably do a little bit of a wiggle here to try and keep this section a little bit better. You see, on this side the speed's going down, but on this side the speed's going up. So we're going to try and get a balance there. 215. Well, that's a bit better. It's about a bit smoother. Then round here, I don't think there's much we can do. We're just bending round a corner, and then I'm going to build out of the city. Now it looks like the route's going to take us down alongside this green bit of path. Well, it's not path. It looks like it's trees. The one thing that we don't have in this game that could be added maybe in the future is a key for the map. But it's all pretty self-explanatory. I reckon that's fields. I reckon that's grassland. I reckon that's trees. And I reckon that's water. So it's not that. It'd be a small, tiny, nice-to-have feature, I guess. And once we've got out of the city, we just need to go around some of these towns and also go through Newark. Now, Newark's a bit of a weird one because Newark has two separate train stations that are quite close to each other. And I do plan on putting both of them in at some point. So we'll put one of them now. This is where the Newark Castle station is. There we go. And there is another station here, which is part of the East Coast Main Line, which I guess we'll expand into at some point. You can see that's going to split the catchment, but we don't want that right now. We don't want that right now. We're concentrating on this moneymaker line. Come on. There we go. And then that's the only other stop we're going to have between the two stations. And we could stop where some other stations actually exist in real life, like in Highcombe. But the population density in Highcombe is not going to be worth it. I mean, if I show you, the station in Highcombe is roughly like here, 681. It's not going to be worth it at this stage. Maybe we'll add it in later. Maybe that's where trams will come in and we'll have a tram service in town. Now, the good thing about Lincoln is that we've got a lot of passengers or potential passengers by having the station there. The bad thing is getting the tracks out. You can't just like hang a left and go straight down here. Well, you can, but look at all these streets that you would have to cross. It's a nightmare. Luckily, that's not where the real railway goes. If we actually get the real railway, and oh, by the way, the shortcut keys for this is actually quite good. You just do 1, 2, 3 and 4 on your keyboard to kind of swap between them. But the railway actually goes through this area here, which is the university. I actually went to this university. There's large, big, massive buildings with loads of lecture theatres and things on either side of the railway tracks, and there's actually a footbridge across the middle. And then from there, it comes out here and just kind of hangs a left. You can see on the map how that goes. So the trains are going to have to slow down for this corner, but having to come out the city this way and slow down for this corner is going to be a lot better for us than trying to build through the city, because once we get round this kind of weird loop and out again, there's a nice straight path that leads us straight down almost to Newark. So we've got the 3 stations in, we've done some of the fiddly bits of track. Now it's time for me to fill the rest of the track in and connect them up, and I think we'll do that as a time lapse. we're just going to pause there for a moment because it's time for these giveaways. Thank you very much again to the developer and JBay for sponsoring these giveaways. I have 4 game codes to give away, and to be within a chance of winning it, it's quite easy. All you got to do is go to my website, masterhellish.net, and go to your profile. If you don't already have an account, it's free and easy to sign up. And then in your profile, there's a little box to enter a giveaway code. The giveaway code for this giveaway is NIMBY. 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 The beginning of the name of the game. If you put that code into that box, then you'll be automatically entered into the draw. And the draw will take place on the 4th of February, so make sure if you're watching the video after that at this point, you've missed out. But if you're watching it in time, go to the website, get that code in that box, and a winner will be chosen on the 4th. 4 winners will be. And they will be contacted by the email address that they've registered with on the website, so make sure that's all up to date. Well, there we go, folks. $187 million, and the line from Lincoln to Nottingham via Newark is in. So we just need to build the blueprints. There we go. And now we have track, actual track, not blueprints. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It really is. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Okay, so hopefully this is going to make us a lot of money. What we're going to need next is a line. And when you put your line in, that's going to tell us if we did our track properly or whether we've got any breaks in it. Now, we don't need to worry about signals or anything like that. If you do a junction, which we'll come to at some point, but we're not going to do one right now because we don't need to, then trains wait for each other at junctions, and also trains wait behind each other. So it's as if there's already signals on the line, which is quite nice. You don't have to worry about putting them in. So let's create a new line, and we're going to say we're going to go from, and this is where you choose the direction that you're going to head out of a station. So we're going to head out in this direction from Nottingham, come all the way up the line to Newark, and once we've stopped at Newark, we're going to head out of Newark up to Lincoln, and when we get to Lincoln, we're going to head out back in the direction we came, and then we just need to say we need to then go out of Newark and all the way around. We could do it so we only stop at Newark in one direction, but I think we'll be all right. So there we go. There is the stops. That is the line added. Now, at the moment, the line is called 16700. I will probably change that, but I don't know what we're going to call this line at the moment, because at the moment it's the Lincoln to Nottingham line. But we're going to expand in the future, so it seems a bit daft to call it the Lincoln to Nottingham line when it maybe then goes down to Derby, probably Stafford, or maybe even down to Birmingham. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's that line done. So now we're going to look at trains, and we love the trains. So there's various different trains. So there's the City Tram, which is the tram lines, and we'll look at that maybe next time. And it goes really quite slow. We want a really fast train. So this train goes 320, then 120, 100, 350, 90, and 220. Now the 220 one looks like a good option, but the problem is that you can only have 2 cars, and it only carries 280 passengers. I don't know if we're going to need more than that, but my intuition is saying we might need more than that. So I think this would have been a good one to go for based on the speed, but not on the number of max passengers. One of the things to consider as well is that this isn't one of our main lines. This is going to be, it is a big line, it's not a small branch line, but our main line that we may do, probably the East Coast main line, kind of is it Leeds, kind of Retford, Doncaster, Grantham, Peterborough, London sort of line, maybe Hitchin, I can't remember, I'll have to check. But we'll do our own version of it. So yes, we're going to have the super fast ones on there, which I believe are the 350s. So let's go down one to the 320s, and this has got a max passengers of 504. That's much better. And how many do we want to run? Let's spend 102 million and get 3 trains. Okay, so we've already spent in total just under 300 million, and we haven't got a train going yet. So this timetable section down here, I've been told by the developer is going to get an upgrade. and it's going to change, or like something's going to happen with it. For now, don't need to worry about it. Just start the timetable off and pick a line. We're not going to give it any funky slots or this, that, and the other. And then this train, we're going to do the same. We're going to say timetable on our new line, timetable on our new line. Now, if we was to unpause this game, all the trains would set off at the same time, probably from Nottingham, because that's the starting point of the line. But I don't want them all to go at the same time. I want some spacing. So if we go back to the lines, you can see the minimum interval. So there's various different ways you could probably schedule the trains, and it's something I've got to look into more before doing more of this series. But I found one of the easiest ways to start off with this is just to say to the train, look, just leave it at least 30 minutes since the last train left the station. That's going to give it some spacing, and we can adjust this 30 minutes as we go. Maybe if we add more trains on the line, we can reduce it. Or maybe if we want them to be spaced out more, we can increase it. But doing that just says, look, if a train's just left, wait 30 minutes, then let the next one go. So, with all that, we have a lot of track being laid. We've got one line in and 3 trains. Let's unpause the game. Spacebar. So, let's have a look and see what the situation is. I've lost my mouse cursor, but it's okay. Oh, found it again. So in theory, we should... Yep, there you go. There's our first train. Now, if you're zoomed out, you just get this icon. But if you zoom in enough, you'll see that you actually get the proper train. Now, it's coming into existence. Now, there are depots in this game, like there are depots in OpenTTD, but the depots in this game are for a completely different reason and purpose. In OpenTTD, it's for creating vehicles and for servicing. In this game, it's for where vehicles go when they're not being used on the schedule. At the moment, we've got an all-day, all-week schedule, so we don't need a depot. We'll probably tweak that in the future once the first update comes out with the schedule changes. So we can see that we've already got a second train waiting, which is fine. And we've got, I think, 6 passengers boarding. If we click on Nottingham, we can see that we've got a neutral satisfaction rating. We've got a reach of... That's our reach. So catchment/reach. Well, I'll tell you what we haven't done, though. We haven't said that we're going to charge them. Quick, pause the game. We're running a service for free. Look at the line information. Base ticket price, price per kilometre. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge them $1 for the base ticket price. And then it depends how far they go along the line, whether they get off at Newark or not. And I'm charging them let's go nuts. $1.50 for each kilometre. Now, if they complain about the prices, I can reduce them. And if they don't complain at all, then maybe we might be able to increase it a little bit. This is a bit of an experiment for me. So now we go. I don't know whether the people on this first train are going to pay, to be honest. And they're off. They're off. That train is now leaving the station. Now, the first speed level of this game, above paused, is real time. So this train is going to take real time amount of time to get to its destination. So I don't know how close the simulation is, but it is quite close. So the game knows how far these tracks are going, how far across the real world it's going. It knows the maximum speed of the train, the maximum speed of the track, and it just works quite nicely. So there we go. We're not going to sit here and wait. I'm going to guess probably half an hour to 40-50 minutes for this train to get to Lincoln. We're still inside Nottingham at the minute. We haven't even left the city centre. So what we'll do is we'll catch up with this train next time. But for now, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Leave all your thoughts, ideas and questions down in the comments section below. And if you're new here, do consider subscribing. You get to see more amazing content like this, as well as OpenTTD and other things, including random stuff that's a bit different, like some Minecraft. Now, if you are not new, or even if you are new, remember that notification bell on YouTube is so important to make sure that you're up to date and you know when the new content comes out. So please do hit that bell and set it to all notifications. It would be much appreciated if you do that. But thank you for watching, take care, and until I see you next time, goodbye.